You're live on the cloud. Now what? The journey is just beginning. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of our podcast series talking about Workday release management. Excited to be joined once again by my colleague, Kristen Resnick from our Workday team. Kristen, thanks so much for your time today. So today our discussion is focusing on testing. And certainly testing is a big part of our release management strategy and a successful release management strategy. So Kristen, perhaps we could start by talking about what are those critical components that you see any institution having when we think about a successful release testing strategy?
That's a great question. So, of course, you've already gone through and done your analysis. You know about the automatic features that are coming, the opt-in features that you've selected, and you also know about some of those features that are retiring. You want to incorporate all of those into your existing regression testing plan. Your regression testing plan is a great starting point because you want to make sure that you're looking at the system as a whole, not just those individual features. But there are ways to be able to take advantage of those tests to also test those features that you know are coming with the release. So you'll want to take that existing testing plan, and then you'll want to, as we had kind of mentioned before, make sure you're establishing who is responsible for this and what are their roles for both testing and then also troubleshooting any issues, making clear what those deadlines are. A kickoff meeting for the group of folks that will be involved can be really helpful and critical in getting some good momentum in this, especially with the tight timeline. Also thinking about other reoccurring stand-ups. Sometimes organizations will have stand-up daily, sometimes twice a week, but you really want to think of that as an opportunity to keep momentum and identify potential issues early and call in the right resources to help move things forward if something does require more staffing or more attention than what you originally realized.
Well said. And beyond just the strategy, what are some of the tools, techniques, other things that an institution can use to benefit their release testing strategy or really make it a success?
Absolutely. So collaborative tools that you're already using can be really helpful in managing your release testing and testing in general. So we've seen a lot of our clients use Smartsheets and the features involved with Smartsheets and the capabilities there have allowed them to do so much more than if they were just using, for an example, a spreadsheet. But Jira and Excel even can work for you. It just depends on your organization's approach. You also want to use a tool that your organization is already familiar with. You don't want to necessarily introduce a new component to something where you already have that tight timeline and you're driving towards resolution. You want this to be a way to communicate with each other and have your testers and your troubleshooters to feel comfortable within the system that you're using.
I think that's a great point, right? We want to make this as seamless as possible. So let's leverage things that we already know the institution understands, that we're successful using in other areas to really make release management testing as seamless and efficient as possible. Kristen, thanks so much for the perspective, and thanks to everyone for tuning in, and I hope you'll join us for our next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope this session helped you see through the clouds. See you next week.